Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back. So today we're going to be taking a look at the Caddx Turtle V2. We're going to test its latency. I will not be doing any flight footage because I have not flown it just yet and we are still packed with snow. So let's take a look at some of the things that it comes with, talk about its features, and then jump into latency testing and hopefully test its other features as well, which I'll get into in a little. Now, as you can tell here, they do provide us with all the hardware needed, with even a 1.5mm hex driver, which is a really nice bonus, and that's a huge plus here. Now, when I first opened this, I saw that it was a 20x20 mounting hole camera, and I was kind of like, what am I going to put this on? What am I going to put this on? And once I took out the box, I find this, which will allow it to be mounted on 30x30 stacks, and at the same time, this acts as a heatsink, but also be extra careful with this because this is copper and it will be very conductive. So just take that into consideration when you are using this. So let's put this to the side. We also get an adapter here for the camera, so if you wanted to have some other type of mounting solution, you can totally do that. Yeah, this would change it into the HS11 type camera size, and then like this, it's just a mini size. So let's put that to the side. We also get our OSD remote here if we wanted to use it for anything, and we have our OSD wire and just another wire that goes to the camera here, or just the control board, I should say. Now, let's put these to the side and take a closer look at the camera. Now, the camera is running a CMOS sensor, which could mean a couple things. It could be pretty fast, and that's what I'm hoping for, because we are going to be testing its latency. The capabilities of this is quite good on paper. It's 1080p, 60 frames per second, which is what I usually do everything on as well. So I'm not really looking for 4K right now. So it goes up to, it does also 720p, and it does 1080p 30 frames per second, and it does the 1080p at 60 frames a second, which is something really nice to have here. Now, as I believe you have to press the button to start recording, but I could be wrong once I plug it in, and then I'll figure out how this thing actually works, because I haven't done that just yet. And I wish they used a different button, because these buttons are the ones that tend to break easily on many things, especially Matex. Some Matex used to have that. These buttons just don't have enough surface to grab onto and to just be more secure. So you can possibly expect to break this button when just trying to press it sometimes. But it's okay. If you ever do, all you got to do is just bridge two pads, and then it'll just work as a button, because that's what the button does. It just bridges two pads, so don't be afraid if you ever do. It's not the end of the world, and it's just totally fixable. And if we take a look here, we have the microphone sticking out. Now, I will be removing this when I'm going to be using it. I don't need a mic. I don't like a mic. I just don't want a mic. So I'll probably either cut this off. And as you can tell, they've put liquid tape on there, the black liquid tape. You could easily remove it off. You just start heating this up and it'll come off. But I might just cut it right at the edges here, and then I just can get rid of it. I just don't like microphone, but then again, that's a personal type of preference. Now, the connector is somewhat, I don't know how good this connector might be, but it just feels so fragile, and I'm really scared to keep just moving it. Unlike the run cams, how they use the flex PCB type or the ribbon type, and they use a really good ribbon for the run cam. Now, I don't know why they didn't go that route with this. I mean, this seems more flexible, as you can tell right here, but also it just feels more fragile, but I could be completely wrong. I have no idea. Only time will tell. And obviously, if any of you have used it, let us know down in the comment section your experience, so everybody gets a better idea of how well these are actually performing. So I'm going to go ahead and start setting up my setup for testing its latency, and let's get started. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and take its first measurement. We are going to take when the LED boots up or just turns on. So we're going to take it right now. We're going to take a look at this. Now and again, this time I'm not listening in on the screen of the LCD with the photoresistor. I'm doing the exact video line, which would mean the exact line that's going straight to your VTX. What is the latency from the camera down to the VTX? Now, if we take a look at the bottom here, this is where the LED turns on, as you can tell when it goes up right here. And on the top, we have the video signal. We can see where the change was. So this was all black, 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 black. Boom, LED turned on, as you can tell. Turned on here, and now we can calculate how much time it took for the video signal to actually register that. So let's go ahead and take our first measurement. So it turned on right there, as you can tell, and it was around 11 milliseconds. That's actually pretty darn impressive for what it's doing here. So that is a huge plus. So let's go ahead and take another one and just get a rough estimate or rough average here to see what exactly we're doing. This one's a little bit faster, I believe. So if we go back, it was registered right here. So that's 8 milliseconds. This is pretty darn, this is really great actually. You always want latency below 25 milliseconds. Below 25 milliseconds is really good. Below 35 milliseconds is still good, but once you start going above 35 milliseconds, it just gets terrible. So you got to take that into consideration. This was the most latency it actually got. Look at this. What is that? 27 milliseconds? Around 27 milliseconds. So that wasn't really good. So as you can tell here, each one of these is half a frame because they're interlaced frames. And the LED turned on between let's just say the first half of the frame right there. It didn't register on the second half of the frame because again, these two are basically kind of a frame. And then it registered on we could say the second frame over. So let's go ahead and take another reading here. So that was 27 milliseconds. All right. And this one is faster, obviously. So it's fluctuating quite dramatically, I would say. This 18 milliseconds right here. So as you can tell, the LED turned on right at the end of the first half frame, and on the second half frame, nothing registered until the third one. And let's go ahead and take another sample, just to get an idea of how this thing is performing. All right, this one's a little bit faster here. And as you can tell, sometimes it does kind of register, which is kind of weird. As you can tell, it registered right there. But then I don't know what happened here, that it just continued the blackness and then it came back here. So that was 18.9 milliseconds. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and switch it over to see when the LED turns off. So this was, again, 18.9 milliseconds, I think, or 16. I can't read, that's too far. 16.9 milliseconds. Let's go ahead and change it to when the LED actually turns off here. So, wrong one. All right, we're going to take a sample now when the LED turns off. Just make sure we have everything correctly. And I think I don't. So let's just fix that real quick. Just got to have it capture correctly. I think right here is going to be good. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now we could just take another sample. Let's go ahead and take our sample. So this is now with the LED turning off. All right, there we go. So we have a sample. Let's just zoom in here to get a better estimate. So I don't know what you want to say. We want to say it picked it up right here, or it picked it up all the way over here. So when the LED turned off, it was around 37 milliseconds, as you can tell right there. And if you wanted to count it from here, it's up to you. It's around 23 milliseconds, but we're going to take more samples here. So the latency is fluctuating quite dramatically sometimes, which is, I've never seen anything fluctuate this much, to be honest. Let's just see. So it's 19 milliseconds. That's pretty good here. It's around 19 milliseconds. I think that's 19. Yeah, it's 19. Okay, let's take another sample. And again, this is the LED turning off. As you can tell, LED on, boom, off. And then this is where the LED was on in the video signal. And this is where it registered that it was off here. And this was roughly, we could say, around, I'm having to move the oscilloscope so I could read this, 22 milliseconds or so. So this was around 22 milliseconds here. So when the LED is turning off, it's going anywhere between 20 to 30 milliseconds of latency. This one's quite dramatic here. This is really weird. You see this? It registered that it went off, but then it went back right there, and it went back and it brought it up like the same when it was on here. So that's kind of strange. Could be something with the settings. I'm probably gonna play with the settings right now and take a closer look here. So that's around 37 milliseconds. Again, it's those little weird hiccups here that gives it that extra latency. But again, I would personally say I would rate this around the 20 millisecond latency camera, basically. So there we got 19.2 milliseconds for when it's booting off. So let's just quickly jump it over to rising edge, which means LED booting up. I'm just going to increase this a little bit, and let's go ahead and take another sample. And I'm just curious to see if we do have one of those, over very long latencies, and I think we do right now. Now 23 milliseconds, that's pretty consistent. I would put it around the 25 millisecond range just because of that fluctuation. And here we have a little bit less, 20 milliseconds. Yeah, like I said, so it's around the 20 millisecond area range right here. So you can go ahead and average this out as you like. Here's one of those hiccups again, as you can tell. And we would say that it was picked up right here. No, actually, it actually picked up here, but then something happened, and then it went back up to here. So it actually, theoretically, we could say that it picked up right there, and that's pretty massive latency. That's 32.8 milliseconds. It's still not bad. It's still below the 35 millisecond threshold, so that's still good. And if you're racing, I don't know, let us know down in the comment section if you race and actually use this. But overall, this is its current latency. Expect more videos on this. I will be setting it up very soon. I'm waiting for the snow to clear up so I can go test this out. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of video footage online of how well this is actually performing. But currently, all I can do is just do these tests because I'm stuck in the shop because of the snow right now. And well, that's it, guys. So I would give this my personal opinion. Obviously, everyone could choose their own. I would put it in the around the 25 millisecond range latency. I would average it out there. This is what I would do, but it's up to you again. There's the data right in front of you. And well, I think that's it, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Expect more, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.